That morning, she laughed as she splashed mud on the old gatekeeper, but by evening, she stood at his doorstep smiling, unaware she had just insulted her future father-in-law. The rain had just stopped. The road outside Ivory Palm Estate was a mirror of puddles. Traders lifted their goods. Children chased one another, feet slapping on wet ground. On a small wooden stool by the iron gate sat Baba Keen. His shirt was threadbare. His cap was bent. His slippers were tired. He looked like any old man guarding any big gate. He was not. Inside those tall white walls were houses he owned, businesses he built, people he quietly helped. But outside the wall, there by the roadside, he wore humility like a disguise. For years he had sat here, watching how the city treated a man it thought had nothing. A black SUV slid into the road, tires slicing the largest puddle. Splash! A wall of muddy water jumped up and fell on Baba Keen, head to toe. His cap drooped. Mud ran down his face like tears that had no salt. The car braked and rolled back a little. The tinted window dropped. A woman's voice, glossy, sharp, came out. "Old man," she said, "don't block the road with your poverty. This is not your village." The window went up. The car moved forward toward the estate gate. For one heartbeat, the world held its breath. Then a soft voice cut through the wet air. "Sir, you're drenched." A young woman stood a few steps away, holding a nylon bag with bread and tomatoes. She set the bag on the stool, took off her small scarf, and wiped the mud from Baba's face gently, like a daughter caring for a father. Her eyes were kind and steady. "What is your name?" the old man asked. "Amara," she said, smiling. "Let me rinse your scarf." She scooped clean water from a bowl, squeezed it, and wiped him again. People looked. Some shook their heads, some laughed, but the girl didn't mind. The SUV's horn tapped impatiently at the gate. Baba Keen lifted his chin and gave Amara a blessing that sounded like a quiet drum. "Thank you, my daughter." She nodded. "I will pass here again tomorrow. If you're sitting, I'll bring hot tea." She returned the scarf to her neck, picked up her bag, and walked away through the little market. The old man smiled because the city had just introduced him to two women, and both were walking toward the same house. Evening came like slow gold. The side gate opened from inside, and the gatekeeper slipped through the wall and into the estate. He moved with the easy confidence of a man who knows every stone by name. Two guards greeted him with respect only their eyes revealed. In the largest house on the inner crescent, Chaik sat in the sitting room, a handsome, quiet man whose clothes were simple but not cheap. Numbers slept on his laptop screen. He looked up when the old man entered. "Papa, you're late today." "Rain took the road," Baba said, settling into a chair the color of ripe plantain. He poured warm water from a flask and sipped. Chaik hesitated, his calm face carrying a small storm. "Papa, I want to tell you something." "Tell me," the old man said, eyes kind. "I plan to propose," Chaik said, and then softly, "Her name is Lillian." Silence walked across the room and sat beside them. Baba Keen placed the cup on its saucer. "Lillian," he repeated, as if tasting a fruit he already knew. He remembered muddy water. He remembered a glossy voice. His eyes did not harden. They deepened. "When is she coming?" he asked. "Tomorrow," Chaik said. A small smile found his mouth. "I want you to meet her." "I will be at the gate," Baba said. Chaik frowned. "Papa, not with those clothes." The old man's laugh was warm. "It is exactly with these clothes I want to meet her." The test had already begun. Morning broke with a clean smell. At the gate, Baba Keen sat in his old shirt, cap bent as always. Vendors greeted him, children waved. He watched every face like a librarian watches books enter a library. Some were light to carry. Some were heavy with pride. At 9, a small bus stopped. Amara jumped down carrying a plastic food flask and a flask of tea. "Sir, I kept my promise." She set the food by his feet and poured tea into a cup. "What is inside?" he asked. "Hot akara and pap," she said. "Eat first. Stories can wait." He ate and listened as she spoke of looking for work for months, of helping her mother sell Gary on weekends, of teaching neighborhood children to read under a mango tree. She spoke without complaining. Her words were like plain water, no sugar, but satisfying. Near noon, a gleaming sedan arrived. A woman in a fitted dress stepped out, heels clicking, perfume walking ahead of her. Lillian. Sunglasses hid her eyes. Attitude did not. She glanced at the security man, who looked too old and too simple, and she flicked her wrist at him like a person chases a fly. Then she tilted her chin and called sweetly toward the compound. "Chaik, I'm here." The inner gate opened. Chaik came out smiling, hugged her briefly, and thanked the gatekeeper for opening. Lillian didn't look twice at him. Baba Keen did not blink. One woman brought food for a stranger. The other brought a mask. Inside the sitting room, Lillian crossed her legs perfectly. She praised the painting, the rug, the minimalist aesthetic. She laughed like soft glass. When Baba Keen joined them, still in his gate clothes, she didn't stand. "Lillian," Chaik said, "this is my father." Her smile cracked for a second, then fixed itself. "Oh, good afternoon, sir," she said, the respect landing late like a bus that missed its stop. "You are welcome," Baba Keen replied, voice level as a ruler. They discussed weather, traffic, business. Lillian told stories about spa days and wine pairings, about a charity gala she attended to support orphans. She'd posted 30 photos, donated none. She asked what brand the rug was, not what history the family carried. When Chaik stepped out to take a call, Lillian's phone lit up. A message. "Dinner tonight? Same place. Wear red." She smiled at the screen. A smile Baba Keen did not miss. He said nothing. When Chaik returned, Lillian leaned into his arm, a picture framed for social media. "Babe, shall we take a tour?" she asked, already standing. They left the old man in his chair with his quiet teacup. In this house, the walls were mirrors. They remembered how people behaved when they thought no one was watching. That evening, the city lights painted the roads. Chaik drove to the teaching hospital to visit a friend. On the way back, a truck swerved to avoid a pothole. Chaik braked hard. The car spun. The world became noise and glass. Darkness. When morning opened his eyes again, he saw a ceiling and a face. Amara's, tired but bright. "You're awake," she whispered. "Praise God." He tried to speak. She handed him water. "Your father is on the way," she said. "You were lucky. The doctors said your back will heal. You just need rest." "How did you?" he managed. "I was at the hospital donating blood for a neighborhood child," she said shyly. "The nurse recognized your name and said they needed a contact. I stayed." His eyes softened. "Thank you," she smiled. Any father who sits at a gate in the rain and still blesses people must have a son worth helping. Chaik blinked. "My father, the old security man," she said, as if it were obvious. He smiled in surprise and a small, warm pain. She did not know. Just then, a perfume arrived before a woman. Lillian stepped in carrying flowers big enough to block the window. "Baby," she cried. "You scared me." Her eyes landed on Amara, and her smile thinned. "And you are?" "A friend," Amara said, already standing. "I will leave so you can talk." Lillian waved the flowers at her like a flag. "Yes, thanks. This is family." Amara nodded to Chaik, whispered, "Get well," and slipped out. As the door closed, the medicine in the air suddenly felt weaker. One woman prayed with him in silence. The other posed with him for pictures. The next evening, Chaik's pain spiked. The doctor recommended observation for 2 more days. Lillian stayed 1 hour, left for a meeting, promised to return, and didn't. She sent selfies with sad captions. "Hospitals make me cry, crying face." She was at dinner in red. At midnight, Chaik couldn't sleep. A nurse came to adjust his drip. Behind her, Amara appeared with a flask. "I made pepper soup," she whispered. "May I?" He nodded. He was not hungry, but he ate because her care tasted better than food. They spoke softly. She told him about a last job interview that didn't call back. He confessed how tired he was of pretending to be who people expected. She laughed lightly. "You? Pretend. He looked away. Sometimes I hide behind quietness. Feels safer. Quiet is not hiding, she said. Sometimes quiet is strength. He slept at last. Before dawn, she left a note on the side table. Get well. The gate still needs your father, and I promised him tea. Love does not shout. It shows up. Days later, Chaik came home. The first thing he did was walk slowly to the gate with Baba Keen. The market women cheered softly. Children said, "Welcome, sir." Amara arrived with tea and akara, eyes bright. "You're back?" she asked. "Healing," Chaik said, grateful. They ate together on low stools, laughing like people who had shared a rainstorm. When Amara finished, she handed the old man a small envelope. "What is this?" Baba asked. "My CV," she said, embarrassed. "I'm still looking for work. Anything, admin, teaching kids, even store records." Baba Keen took it with both hands, not because paper is heavy, but because hope is. Lillian's car slid past, music loud. She didn't stop at the gate this time. She drove in, posted a photo of Chaik's hand in hers. Caption, "My fighter, two hearts." In reality, she barely greeted him before asking, "Can we travel when you're better? I need pictures in Maldives." Chaik's face was calm as a lake with stones under it. The old man had seen enough, but the city had one more lesson to teach. 1 week later, Amara was invited to the house. "We need a temporary office assistant," the manager said. "Come and help for 2 weeks while Mr. Chaik recovers." She arrived early, eager, grateful. Lillian arrived late, glittering, restless. At noon, the household was busy. Lillian slipped into the master room. From a velvet box, she took the family's old coral necklace, a heritage piece worth more than words. She placed it under Amara's neatly folded scarf in the visitor's lounge. Then she raised an alarm. "Thief!" she cried. "My mother's necklace is gone. Somebody call the guard." People ran. Voices rose. The manager checked everywhere. Someone opened Amara's scarf by accident. The coral necklace fell out like a snake that had been hiding. A gasp tore through the room. Amara's hands trembled. I don't know how." Lillian folded her arms. "Of course you don't." The guards called the old man. Baba Keen entered quietly and looked from face to face. His eyes rested on Lillian, then on Amara. "Sir, Amara began, tears breaking. "Let her go," the old man said softly. "What?" Lillian snapped. "A thief." The old man's voice did not rise. "I said, let her go home." Amara covered her face and ran out, shame like rain on her back. Lillian turned to the old man, victorious. "You see the type he surrounds himself with?" Baba Keen's gaze was steady. "I see." The gatekeeper had not been guarding only a gate. He had been guarding the truth.